Hi everyone. Boy, do I have a tale for you. I just want to give everybody a warning that I'm probably going to sound obnoxious a little bit in this episode. And if you don't like potty mouth, like really just don't listen to this episode because I don't know like a nicer way to describe what I'm going to describe. So went to see Fortune Feimster, good time. Um, I messed up, okay? We're supposed to stay at, like, a good hotel. And I realize that I'm gonna sound like I don't mean to sound like a snob or anything like that, like, I don't mean to sound like a snob in this episode, okay? But we were supposed to stay at a hotel to stay overnight, and we both have had a busy week, and I don't know what's up with me and just kind of letting Alicia pick the place. But I didn't this time. I was like, I was in my room in here. I was like, where could we stay? And then I found something and I was busy doing other shit. So I was like, okay, this one is an inn. It got like a 7 out of 10. That's not a bad rating. And the price was like pretty cheap. It was like 130 or some shit. 117 for one night. Oh, and I was like, okay, I didn't bother to read the comments. Oh my God, this is why am supposed to read the comments. And so I just saw it's called the Swiss Cottage Inn. That's right. I'm going to put them on blast. Nobody knows who they are. Um, and yeah, that is not a 7. That was not a 7. So like I just kind of pointed this place out to Alicia and I thought it was kind of like a suggestion place, like 'cause, we went to get a room last minute, and I'm still trying to get myself into an Airbnb, but Alicia's, like, weird about that. So I mean, I really wish that we had gone with an Airbnb. So anyways, I thought she was gonna, like, maybe pick something different, but she went exactly with the thing that, like, I showed her. Like, so, okay. I'm all excited. I'm like, "Look at this, like, we get to stay at something, like, so fancy." Oh my god, it was not fancy, but I was thinking it was, and I was like, "Wow, could this be real? Could I really just" you pay that like a way less than you would for just a regular hotel room or something? Like, I know it's an inn, but you know what? Never fucking staying in an inn again. Um, so they had advertised a pool, right? They had a picture of it. And so when we get there, this is like a 2.5 hour drive from where we live because we went down to like Niagara Falls to see Fortune Feimster. Um, and so we get there, she pulls into the parking lot. The fucking pool is in the parking lot, in the middle of the parking lot. It's like built into the ground. It's an in-ground pool. It's in the middle of the parking lot. This is not normal. I've never seen anything like this before. And apparently, like, that's a thing or something? Because we saw like another one like down the street, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? And so the inn, it was like all the rooms were on one floor and it was those rooms that open to the outside. And I'm like, okay, maybe the inside of the room will be nice. And so like we go inside the tiny little room to check in and this dude like it's just grungy in there and I'm thinking, what the fuck did we get ourselves into? Like this is not we're not at this level in our life. Like this is where we stayed in our 20s or something. Um like we didn't have tons of money. That's I mean, no, I wouldn't even we didn't even stay in places like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had class. But anyways, so the guy hands us a key, like a literal key. And I'm just looking at it and there's only one and cuz you're used to cards where you swipe to get into the hotel rooms. And I'm like, they still do keys? I really felt like I was in like a new country. And so he tells us what our room number is, and we drive down there, and oh, it's like it just reminded me from a scene from like Breaking Bad or something. Um, there was like just random long chair like hanging outside of our room, and I'm like, oh no. Like, I'm kind of afraid to go in there. So we, like, go in, and it is not good. It is not good in that room. Um, I don't know how Alicia go how did we go from bougie, like, not even a month ago, we were staying at, like, a bougie room. It was an accidental bougie. We didn't know it was gonna be that nice, to this. It's like the best way to describe it is it's like when I first sorry about this is gonna be all over the place, I'm sure. I hope you can follow. Um, the first time I went to see a movie, and it was, you could have dinner, you could eat, like, while you're watching the movie. I thought that was the greatest fucking thing that you could go to a theater and do that, and I remember telling Alicia, like, "Never again are we gonna go to a theater where you don't get to eat and, like, recline back. Like, I am not downgrading after this experience because I can't do that. Whenever I have a better experience than something, like, who wants to go back, you know?" So it's like downgrading from that, not even to a regular movie theater, but to, like, the one in, like, your dingy little town that, like, maybe sits 50 people, doesn't have air conditioning, it's dusty as fuck in there, and, like, it's, like, stale-ass candy. It's, like, that kind of a downgrade. Um, no offense to those. I mean, I've been to one time, and that was the last time. And so, the pool in the middle of the parking lot, I'm sorry, I can't, like, I can't. Why is it in the parking lot? Why can't you just put it out back somewhere? Like, make an out back and put a pool out back? Like, no. That's so gross. Anyways, the room, okay, go in there. And we have some janky ass fucking air conditioner, like, sticking out of, like, down by the ground, like, I don't know. It was like 89 degrees when we went inside that fucking room because that's what the air conditioning thing said, or the temperature thing in there said. And so we just was like, I guess we'll just turn it on and inhale whatever the fuck comes out of this vent. Um, like, can't believe that, like, I can't believe I allowed this to happen. And so the bathroom door, right? So you go in, it's this tiny ass fucking room. My dorm room in the military was bigger and better than that shit. And that was like 20 years ago. The bathroom door doesn't even close. It's got a hand, like a little knob, you turn it like it's supposed to, but like the door is wider than the opening. So you can't, it's not even like, how like when it gets hot out or something and like the doorways in the house, like, kinda swell a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but, like, it's kinda harder to close, because of the heat or whatever. It's not even that. It was a heavy door. It was an old ass this is, like, a room out of, like, 1992. This is where this room came from, and it's like somebody went to all that effort to get that heavy ass fucking door up. Then they went to close it, and they realized, "Uh-oh." And then they probably were like, "You know what? It closes mostly, and this was a lot of work. We're just gonna leave it as is, and people will be okay with that." I have bathroom trauma. I like to close the fucking bathroom door. I don't care if it's my wife. I fucking need to close that door. So I was like, Who does this? Who? Okay, like who?" And so then there's only two outlets. The last place we were at had like 15 all around the room. There was like two outlets. You had to unplug the one crusty ass lamp for Alicia to plug her CPAP in. There was only one fucking lamp on her side because that was the nearest like outlet. Oh no, was there three? There was one in the bathroom. And then I mean, it was not good. No updates, no nothing. And so, like, there was that. And then I like to sleep with a fan on me, like a table fan. So I'm looking for an outlet. Like, where can I position this? And the closest one was because the bed's right by the bathroom, because that's a good choice, right? Like, you're sleeping. Maybe your loved one gets up to take a dump or something and you get to smell that because that's what happened this morning to me. It happened this morning. Um, so I had to plug the fan into the outlet above the sink and then perch the table fan onto the dinky ass small sink, and then angle it toward where I was sleeping on the bed so that I could feel something, some breeze. And so the way that this worked is like not good because I'm like, okay, I got to breeze. But then, like, as I'm like finally was going to sleep, I realized that I had to open the bathroom door all the way the fuck open. So the door was like over on my side by the bed. It's just, oh, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. And, who wants to wake up to sun blasting in your face? Well, there's like a window in the bathroom and there's no curtain over the bathroom. And I can't shut the bathroom door because I need the breeze from the fan. So, like, it was bright as fuck this morning, and we joked. We were like, "Oh, watch us get up at 6:30, ha ha ha." We did. It was 6:20 when we both woke up at the same time. 6:20. Oh my god. Just gross, gross, gross. There were stains on the carpet. I was like, was there some murder dirter here? Because like I've seen that on the TV before. I know that that shit's like acting, but it happens. Yeah, so what else was there? No cable. The guy told us that right away. He's like, "I'm really sorry. It was something about the cable. I couldn't really understand what he was saying. I just knew that there was going to be no cable." And we're like, "Okay, whatever," because we brought like our laptop or in. Well, I brought my laptop and we had our phones and stuff. And so he's like, "Here, I'll give you the password to the Wi-Fi. We at least have that." And I'm like, "Okay, that's good." Um, doesn't even like, oh my God, the fucking Wi-Fi is non-existent almost. Oh, oh my God, I'm sorry. It's just bringing back like when I almost had a meltdown last night. I told you I was going to be all over the place. So like we get back, Alicia is able to just go to bed and pass the fuck out thanks to trazodone, and I brought edibles. I'm like, I am not. I'm gonna have a good time in my head. Like those edibles didn't fucking work. I was like, "No, what is happening that these edibles aren't working?" She goes to sleep. It's so early for me, so I need to entertain myself. That's why I brought my laptop. And the Wi-Fi is in and out, in and out, in and out. And I was starting to have a meltdown because whenever there's a technology issue, and I wasn't going to wake Alicia up to fix this for me. If I can't fix whatever the fucking issue is and I really need to do the thing, I start going into meltdown mode. And I felt myself bubbling as if I were a volcano. I was like, something, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? I need the internet. I didn't bring any, like, I mean, I could go on the internet on my phone, sure, but I prefer a laptop with stuff that I was going to, like, I wanted to work on things and stuff. And so short story, I taught myself how to do hotspot. And I know there's a bunch of you out there laughing because you probably do this on a regular basis, but like I've known about this for years and I have never tried it. And I was like, now is like a good time to see if I can figure this out. And boy, did I figure it out. I was so proud of myself. Oh my God. I know nothing about data usage or anything. I was like, I'm just gonna just use it until I can't anymore. But like it lasted for like a couple hours. And I was proud of myself. I taught myself how to connect like the phone to the thing, to the laptop, you know? That's a big deal for me. And so then the meltdown went away. Oh my God. So yeah, and then there was a desk with a chair, and then that chair I didn't really like, and then there's this other chair that really looked like it came from the 90s and that it's been there as long as like that building's been there. It was disgusting. Fucking stains on it. And so like I brought a couple of dish rags, not like our good ones, because I wrap scissors when I travel like up in a dish rack so that it doesn't point gets, I bring sharp things with me because you never know. No, just anyways, I'm glad I brought them because I had to like drape them over the fucking chair just so I would feel comfortable sitting in it. And then an hour in, I'm like, oh my God, should I sit on the floor? Because it was so gross. It was the first time I've been to any kind, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna just have to do it. I need to sit cross-legged. This chair is not doing it for me." It was a bad experience. And then what else? So I just went to bed kind of early for me, and I was like, maybe I'll fall asleep soon. And I was having a good time in my head. My head entertained me. because I'm looking up at the popcorn ceiling. It is very stabby. Like, it is serious popcorn. It looks like the very first popcorn ceiling ever made. It was like, and then I had this thought, like, oh, if there was a ghost in here, like they could just sweep us up and like run us over the popcorn ceiling and our skin would just tear up. We would die. And I don't know why that thought popped into my head because my mind always goes to worst case scenario. Um, and that was, especially because I did not feel good in that room. And so I'm like, I'm imagining our possible murders on this popcorn ceiling. And then there was some bangs next door. They finally got home and I couldn't hear. There was like some shouting a little bit. We had the air conditioning on and then the fan, so there was the white noise. So I didn't hear what they were saying, but like we heard the bangs and I'm like, "Oh my god, is there a murder taking place next door?" Like, are we gonna get home and see on the news like body found in room number blah blah of that inn? I don't know. And then my mind went to, hmm, what if somebody made a copy of a key that goes to this room? They could just let themselves in if they wanted to. Who knows? Who has a copy of this key that's out there and like, hey, I want to go to room number 8 today. I made this copy like several months ago. Let's see. I don't know. My mind was just like, yeah, that's gonna happen. And so then I was like, well, what's gonna happen if somebody breaks in? Because do you know in a hotel room, you can lock the door and then you've got that little metal thing off to the side where you just push it out. And if somebody were trying to come in, they couldn't because that thing would stop the door from opening. There was nothing like that. So I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna die this way. Because that's just I don't know. Somebody out there probably had a key. Um, and then I'm looking around once I got adjusted to the light. There's these two old ass paintings on the wall. And then I was like, who decided that like you're just gonna put one painting on this bare ass wall here? And they're so small. Like I shouldn't even say it, they're not paintings. They were some old ass dusty frame with weird ass pictures of like flowers in it that came from like the 1800s is what it looked like. And there was one on one wall, one on the other one, and then I looked at the other two walls and I'm like, that why didn't they put something on those walls? That's all bare. Why did you only put up these two things? And then why these two things? What was the thinking behind those? Like why? And then I was like, in the layout of this room, who the fuck thought it was a good idea to put the bed right the fuck next to the bathroom? Yeah, it's a small room, but you could move it over by the window across the way. I mean, what thinking goes into just, I don't know. We definitely did not take a shower because it didn't look like a place that you would want to shower in. It reminded me of when I was in the desert. Um, Well, like, yeah, is that a good example? I don't know. The desert had better showers, but like those kinds where like you don't want your bare feet touching the floor, like you go in like a flip-flop shower, you know what those are? You're like, oh, I don't know like what's gonna get on my feet. So they're like flip-flop showers. No, even if I had a pair of flip-flops, I hate that fucking word. I would not wear them into that little gross that gross who got somebody got cut up in there maybe? I don't know. It was gross. That shower was gross. And so it gets better. Um, so I was packing yesterday and I always pack some washcloths and I decided, nah, we don't need any. Um, So, I like to do a little bird bath in the sink. Like, if I'm not going to shower, I want to make sure I clean. This is the part where you might want to turn off. So, like, they had these, like, they were basically shit from the Dollar Tree. And I'm not making fun of people who shop at, like, the dollar store because I do on a regular basis. I'm just saying, if you're paying money to stay somewhere, why are you, like, why is the towels and the washcloths from the dollar store? They were so cheap. And I wasn't even thinking. I was just like, well, I just grabbed a washcloth and like I got it all like wet under the water and then I went to go wash my pussy. Okay? Cuz like I needed to wash my pussy. So embarrassing. I'm sorry. But, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be clean at the very least before I go to sleep." And then I wake up and I have an itchy pussy. And I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" And, I was like, "Do I have a yeast infection?" And then I was asking Alicia, I was like, "Can you get a yeast infection?" Like, I just want to preface this by saying I don't agree with anybody that says like, "Oh, you're a woman. You should know your parts in your body. You should know what like everything in your body does." No. I don't care. I only want to know what these things do when like it's time to know what they do. I don't even care, okay? I do not care that I don't know if you can still get a yeast infection if you don't have a uterus. I asked Alicia, I was like, if stuff gets taken out, can I still get a yeast infection? And the reason why I was asking this is because I needed a confirmation that yes, in fact, that can happen. Because what if like that's something that disappears when you get like surgical menopause, like you get your uterus taken out? Do you still get yeast infections? I don't know. What if that's a thing that you don't get and then I am just walking around with like a dirty snatch? Like I don't even have a reason for it being itchy. It's just this like dirty, dirty. Does that make sense? And so she was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure you still got a vagina, still stuff happens up in there." And I was like, "Okay, well, I think I have a yeast infection and I'm confused. I haven't had one of these in like years." So what happened? And we were doing some detective work in our heads, and then Alicia made some joke about something. I don't know. I was like, well, at least I washed up before I went to bed. And she's like, oh no, what if it was the washcloth? What if it was like whatever detergent they used? I'm like, oh no. Because my mind went back to that moment that I held that washcloth. Why did I not notice in the moment that that was not a good decision? But my brain was able to spot that looking backward in time. Why? It was that fucking washcloth because, like, I still have a little itch going on down there. Yep, sorry, this is what's coming out of my mouth. I still have an itchy pussy, but, like, I'm pretty sure Alicia's correct, and, it's from the washcloth. Like, why? You really get what you pay for. I thought I got a good deal. I didn't do any. Do you see? This is why you have to do investigative work before you go anywhere. Oh my gosh, thank goodness the internet's around like now, but I didn't make any good use of it before we left because of this fucking place I found. It was like a murder place. It was like what happens in this inn? This is not an inn. That's like code for something. Like, no cable, fine, whatever, but, like, your gross ass AC, I don't know, like, at first I was like, was it because I sat on the floor and something, like, jumped inside my cooter? Like, that's why I'm itchy? Like, I knew I shouldn't have sat on the floor. Like, I was trying to figure out where's this itch coming from? And I'm like, "No fucking way, we just, like we just stayed in this place in, like, but, like, it's what time is it now? It's, like, not even 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've been on the go since, like, 6:30. We went to Niagara Falls and everything before all the tourists got there, and, like, we were walking, and I was making some comment about my fucking pussy not itching as bad when I'm walking, for obvious reasons, and so we were gonna sit, and, like, Alicia's looking around, she points to, like, this slate, like, this, stone slate or something, whatever it's called, and it was very cool to the touch, and she's like, "Oh, sit there, it'll be good for your pussy." Oh my god. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. Um, never, ever, ever again, ever will I not do my research before we leave. Never again am I gonna give her the choice of, like, places to pick. Sorry, I'm just gonna take that away from her. She's not gonna care that I took that away. I'm going to decide, and I'm gonna do my research because this one was on me. I found this place, and I just was like, "Oh, number 7. Yeah, I got a 7, and it's close enough to the venue. Not too bad." But like this is coming from somebody who I told her, I was like, we could maybe walk to the venue. And she's like, how far is it from the inn? And I was like, it says it's only a 7-minute drive. So that's got to mean like what, maybe a 20-minute walk? And she looks it up. She's like, no, it's a few miles. What the fuck, man? And then she's like texting people she knows from like, oh, we're telling people like this is where we're staying. You told Janice, in case something happened, they need to know like what shitty place we were staying at. If like our bodies I didn't turn, I don't know. If like we just went missing. And one of her friends was like, oh, years ago, I used to stay on the corner. That is like not a good spot in town. You don't say, right? It's not a good spot in town. Yep, it was not. It was not a good spot in town. Nope. Um, yeah, so I guess that's all. I just got on here to say that that's what happened. And the reason why I'm recording this and is because this is what my brain did to me. I had such huge regret. I am kicking myself that I didn't like I just this I'm sorry, but like this is how important it is to find a good place to stay. And they really need to come up with a system where you get a full 24 hours out of your room if you're going to pay. Like what is up with this like 16-hour bullshit? And Alicia's like, "Well, they need time to clean." I'm like, "No shit." But they need to come up with some system where like there's people that can stay there for a full 24 hours. Like I don't know. Like not that we wanted to in that place. I wasn't talking about wanting to stay 24 hours in this place. I don't know where that came from. By the time we got home, that would have been the time that we checked out from a normal hotel, like 11 o'clock. And so, like, we went and we walked all around Niagara Falls and did all that shit in like a matter of hours. And now we're home and it's like almost 1 o'clock. And I feel like it's been an entire whole full day. And did I tell you about the pillows? If I did, I'm sorry. I don't remember. The last place we stayed at, it was advertised like this one was, but there was pictures. And so the pillow was the only thing that sucked. Alicia called those potato pillows because they were just slightly softer than a rock. So we called them a potato pillow. And I was so pissed. I was like, why is everything else in this place okay except for these fucking pillows? And so, like, I go to lay down on whatever the fuck they called a pillow. I'm like, this is like a pizza dough pillow. It's like lumpy in some spots. And I'm like, oh my God, is this where I'm going to catch COVID? Like, I've escaped it all these years and I'm going to catch it by something in that room that I'm breathing in or I don't know. I just, oh, so gross. I'll say I have a clean snatch now in case anybody was wondering and it's not as itchy. So I'm pretty sure Alicia was right. Never again. And like that was a big thing for me to do anyways. Like I don't like using hotel rooms, like the hotel places washcloths, and I don't like sticking them up my cooter because that's very personal. It's like, where has this washcloth been? How many other fucking assholes and cooters is it wiped? Like yeah, it's washed, but whatever. I don't do shit like that. But I was desperate because that room makes you feel dirty. Just standing in it, I felt gross, and I was desperate. I just needed to clean my pussy, I suppose. And, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know why my butt doesn't itch, 'cause that way well, anyways, that's not I can't believe I said that out loud. Where am I at with time? Oh my God, I've been on here a half an hour. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end this now. My God, this was like the worst. So if there's anybody that like their mind does all these weird things and it takes them to like weird places and like you've been grossed out by something like this, please can you let me know? Like, please. Like, how is it that like we're in our 40s and we stayed somewhere like that? And I am not judging if you're in your 40s or your 50s and you stay in places like that. I'm not judging you, even though you probably find that very hard to believe right now. I'm not. I just for myself will never the fuck ever, 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 especially stay in a place that opens up to the parking lot, especially stay in a place that opens up to the goddamn pool 5 feet from your fucking door. And there was like families in there and everything. I rolled up. I was like, isn't this the kind of like joint where like people stay for like a week or two at a time? Because oh God, like what did I do? What? And the guy had such a nice personality because I was gonna leave a review if but I was like, I'm not gonna bother leaving any review because this is probably a good place for people who like, it might be better from like other places they came from. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just gonna leave that one alone. He had a nice personality, and I really just base everything off of like people's personalities because if he was a prick, you bet your ass I would go online and be like, "This fucking sucks. This in is shit." So good thing he's got a good personality. But Fortune Feimster, I guess, was definitely. I mean, yeah, I guess she was worth that little side trip to fucking motel, pick the carpets. I don't know. I'm sorry if I sounded really arrogant and gross in this episode. I feel like I still have to. I really need to take a full-on shower. I just cleaned the whole. I'm not gonna. Just not. I gotta go. Do you hear my talking? My brain. Oh my God, what's happening? What is happening? It's like I brought home the Wi-Fi signal in my brain. It's like cutting out. Um, I really think this was related to autism in some way. So, and if you're still listening, you must think so too. So, yeah, I guess if you're gonna walk away with any little tidbit of advice from this here episode, it would be do not wash your private parts with the washcloth that is supplied to you. I don't even care if you're staying in a bougie hotel. Don't do it because you could get an itchy something down there. Okay? And that's the worst place to feel itchy. Okay? Like, it's just the worst place. Don't do it. Bring your own washcloths. By the way, there was no boxes of tissues. Do you know how spoiled I felt? I was like, I thought that like sorry, I know I was gonna get off of this episode, but like I thought that like the hotel rooms that we've stayed in, even the ones that are not super bougie, I thought that was how they all were. They all have a box of tissues. They all have a lamp on each side of the bed. They all have more than two outlets. Like none of them have a bed right by the bathroom. That place had no box of tissue, so I was, like, having to blow my nose with, like, the fucking toilet paper. And maybe that did make me sound gross, but, they make tissues for a reason. I like to use those to blow my nose, and there's no tissues in there. There was nothing. No, nothing in there except an envelope that was very crinkly that was hanging on some sign that they had, and it was for the housekeeper, and it was like an envelope kind of like suggesting that, "Hey, give me some tips." And I told Alicia, we tip good, and I was like, "I am not. Why would I tip? Like for what?" And I was like, "I'm not doing it. That's okay, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." Um, yeah. So do your research. Um, if you're gonna stay at something and it's called like it sounded nice, Swiss Cottage Inn. I almost walked out with some Swiss cheese in my pussy, but I don't think it's a um and whatever I called those before. Oh my God, my brain. I need to stop talking. Just do your research and then bring your own washcloths and maybe your own towels too, depending on where you go. But like, and then maybe bring some like non-itch, like that anti-itch for your, down there's. I don't know if guys have the same thing, but I'm sure they do. Um, I'm so embarrassed right now. I'm so embarrassed. I'm just gonna go. Thank you. Bye.